Good morning, everybody. Welcome to session 5 of history. So now that we've done 4 previous sessions, we should have quite a lot of knowledge already of the Vikings. So today we're going to thinking about why our Vikings have such a negative image. And we've looked at sources, especially last week, about how they've got this negative image, because the monks were able to write things down and they were able to put their point of view across more than other people. Okay, we've seen all these pictures before of the different aspects of Viking life. So we know lots about the Viking warrior and the explorer and the invader, but we know less about the trader as a Viking. So we're going to look more into deciding what our points of view are with pieces of evidence today. So, remembering these questions in the back of your mind all the time, why do Vikings have such a negative image? And what aspects of life that have been shared less? And if so, why? Is it because we haven't got enough evidence? Or is it that the monks had so much influence at the time that they were able to put their point of view across hundreds of years later and then ingrain it into our historical knowledge? So, today, the question is, were Vikings raiders or traders? And we're going to use different pieces of evidence. So you are going to be historians today, and you are going to look at individual pieces of evidence, and you are going to decide whether this piece of evidence tells you whether they were a Viking raider or a Viking trader. And it's looking at those images and artifacts with your real historian head on. So I'm going to give you lots and lots of pictures of evidence, and some of them are artifacts that have been found and dug up by archaeologists. Some of them are pictures and representations that we believe. Some of them are maps where archaeologists have found old settlements. So they are accurate even though they are a drawing of that area. Okay, so you've got to have your archaeologist historian head on, and you are going to decide whether each piece of evidence, or a selection of evidence, because I'm going to give you quite a lot to look at, is a Viking raider's piece of evidence or a Viking trader's piece of evidence. So, today, I am going to give you, I think there's about 4 sheets of pictures, and each one shows you lots of different information. Some of them are numbered, some of them are not. Okay, so on this sheet they are all numbered. Now we need to think about whether they are sources of primary evidence or whether they're secondary evidence. So primary evidence is from the actual time. So if we look at this ship, okay, this was dug up out of the ground, so we know it is a primary source of evidence because it comes from the actual time. If we think about this tapestry that we've seen before, we know this is a secondary piece of evidence because it was made after the date. So it was later on and it was made from somebody's memory. So it is a secondary piece of evidence. So now that we've got that secondary and primary source of evidence, we can think about what we're going to do with it. So today we are going to have a look at each piece of evidence. And I think there's about 6 boxes. So you need to think about selecting one picture and think about what you found. What does this tell you about the Vikings? And were they a trader, a raider, or a settler? Now, a settler we haven't really looked at so far. A settler is somebody who actually comes over to the country and makes a home here and stays here for a while, which is different to a trader who would only come and visit, do their trades with other people, and then they would leave. They might do it regularly, but they wouldn't stay and then create a new life in this area. So a settler is somebody who actually stays. So, for example, I thought I'd choose picture number 8, and I really looked at this. One, because it attracted me to it. I thought, oh, that's nice and sparkly and shiny. I'll have a look at that one. So I picked this one as a source so that I could show you what I might find. So in the box here, I would find jewellery, and I would find coins. Now, because it's not a very detailed picture, I don't know where these coins come from, but I might be able to take a guess from my previous historical knowledge of where they might have come from and what this jewellery might contain. So I'm going to put, maybe in the next row, that it's number 8. Oops, I'll put a star and number 8, so that I know that if anybody asks me which one I chose, I can put number 8. If it hasn't got a number, then just give me a brief description of it's the map or something. So I might also, what does this tell you? So I have to have a reason. So everything we do has to be based on evidence. What does this tell you about the Vikings? So the coins, they might be Arabic, because we know that the Vikings went to Arabic areas, which is the north of Asia. Okay, we know they went to Africa. We know they went to Constantinople, which is now Turkey. So they had all that Mediterranean Sea as a coastline, and we know they were great sailors. So they had coins from Arabia. We know the jewellery. Oh, I can't spell today. I'm very sorry. Okay. Oh, I really can't spell today. Sorry. We know the jewellery is gold and silver. I know that it's got precious gems in it. So I know it's got gems of diamonds and rubies and sapphires. So very, very expensive. So I know that these might be rich Vikings who had all of this. So these might be, this could not determine who I think these are. Okay, I know this was obviously a very, very wealthy person to have these coins. I know they must have been very, very well travelled. So it tells me they were well travelled as well. So now that I've come up with that the coins were from Arabia, my jewellery was very, very ornate and of very, very expensive materials and gems. I don't think it would be a settler. I don't think somebody would come here to live with Arabic coins, because they wouldn't be able to spend them. So I might be thinking that these people will be maybe raiders or traders. So traders would have to have Arabic coins to do that trade when they got to that country. They would be taking and selling these beautiful items of jewellery to other places around the world. Or it could be that somebody is a raider and have taken this from somebody else's house. So I could be thinking about those. But you could decide, either way, they would be right. So the challenge today is to go and have a look at a series of these things and really think about it and try and unpick. So where have they got this from? Why have they got this? Who could have it? Where has it come from? All of those questions, the who, what, where, when and why, okay, that we've already talked about in our English, about our Viking newspapers, okay, should be going through your mind when you do this. Okay, so have a go at that. And then once you've done that, you might find that you have a completely varied, that you have a really good selection of raiders, traders and settlers. So maybe you'll come up with the decision that actually to be vicious Vikings and invaders and raiders maybe wasn't the only way the Vikings lived. Maybe there are other aspects that we really need to consider. So I'd like you to go away and have a look and see if you can complete that for me. Okay, we'd love to see what your opinions of these Vikings are, so that we can come back and really have a look at, was the view of the Vikings really correct that we did? When you've done that and you've come up with your point of view, so this is the real question, okay? When you've come up with your point of view, now can you think about, I don't know where to put myself. Can you think about drawing one piece of evidence that you have found that shows not all Vikings were raiders? And then think about a message that you would like to show people, a different side of life of the Vikings. So can you remember back in sort of week 1, you drew what you thought a Viking was looking like. Now that you have all this extra knowledge, can you tell me and show maybe people a different side of Viking life? I'd love to see your pictures and what you'd like to tell them. Have a great time. Thank you very much for listening.